All right. Hi, Brandon. You have joined us from North Carolina, and I remember Anthony was talking about you about a year and a half ago. You started your journey as a YouTuber with Car Questions Answered. You're heading towards 200,000. I see that happening pretty quickly. 500,000 doesn't look far. So welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me in. I don't know that I take the role of YouTuber yet. I always say on my videos, when people ask me in our lives and stuff that we do, I'm not a YouTuber. I am a car dealer that posts videos on YouTube. So I
And
go ahead.
No, and millions of folks are benefiting from your views. And I was just looking at it. So I'm going to deep dive into that because you're crushing it. The creator economy is exploding, which is where we've called this podcast Creator Economy 3.0. And just to give you more background about why we thought of starting this, my name is Bhavik. I'm the CEO and co-founder of UpView.ai. We support YouTubers increase their traffic using artificial intelligence, and we have a company just doing that. But we have started realizing that YouTubers are not just content creators; they are entrepreneurs, and we want to figure out how they can actually grow not just as video producers, but even businesses. So, Brandon, if you can introduce yourself, why you started this channel.
Yeah, so my name's Brandon. My channel is Car Questions Answered. Initially, what we started out doing is I wanted to give a behind the scenes look of the car market because there's just really not a lot of that out there. Taking people to auctions with me and show them basically what car dealers do behind the scenes, and with that, I also wanted to give people tips and tricks and find ways to really not get just ran over by car dealers and just take a transparent um, really look at the car market and how car dealers operate so you people just don't get screwed by car dealers, right? And that's one thing that we've
Yep.
learned in our business. And I feel like going into this YouTube space, I really had a cheat code before because I've already grown a business and already know a lot about marketing. And really that's what YouTube is. If you want to get eyeballs on your videos, you have to market yourself well, whether you're putting your product, which is your video, into a nice package with your titling, your thumbnailing, your intros. It's all so important, and I feel like my marketing background in growing the business and how we marketed our cars really gave me a leg up to be able to just really catapult me into this growth. And really, I mean, we call it a niche that really doesn't exist. I'm an honest used car dealer, so it's that just doesn't, you can't find that anywhere. And the more transparent that I'm able to be about our process and how things work, and literally on my channel, I show people what I pay for my cars and what we're going to sell them for, and that just doesn't exist in my niche. So it's I would say luck and skill. I say luck. I don't really believe in a lot of luck, but
Yeah.
I believe that if you work hard and when opportunities, the doors open, you run through them head first, then you can kind of create your own luck. But we were lucky to say that this niche is really hasn't been tapped into. And if other creators out there, if you can find a niche that people are really wanting to see, and you're you're the top one, two, three. If there's only a few people out there that are actually doing it well, then it makes it much easier for you to break into it. I've seen other creators and on podcasts like this talk about, like, a lot of people try to get into like a gaming niche, and it's almost impossible. That's like becoming like a major league baseball player. You got to be the 0.001%, and you have to do it well, and you have to do it better. You have to really, you want to look at a lot of these funnels in YouTube from really, you want to go from wide scale, but actually filter it down to the very smallest niche that you can absolutely find, and then you can grow from there. And just to say all those things is to say that we started out as to give tips and tricks on the car market, help you with fixing your car and help you navigate the car market. But what it actually, we had to pivot. I won't say had to, but we found out that the niche that we were trying to serve actually really wasn't the direction that we were trying to go. And we found out pretty soon that there were a lot of people in finance that were actually watching our videos because I was talking about some stock reports coming out for like CarMax, Carvana, and some macroeconomics. So we actually figured out later on that no, the people that we thought that we were going to serve with this, those aren't really the people that are watching our videos. It's the people that want to know about the economy. And so we pivoted and became a car market channel, and we started a second channel to do our first mission. But just you have to be fluid. You have to know who your audience is, and really just dial down on your niche and figure out who you're trying to serve in the area that you're trying to serve. And it's so important in business, and it's so important in YouTube. You have to know who your customer is, and in YouTube, your customer is your viewer.
That makes sense. And I was actually checking out a bunch of your videos, and I was going to bring that up that you have pretty well, like, I think the way you position cars, but also talking about how the economy affects the sale and the purchase of cars is pretty smart. That's because I was actually taking some advice on stock market. So you are definitely capturing a much wider audience who's interested in finance, but they look at you as subject matter expert in the car industry or automobile industry. So that's something which I personally, as a viewer, benefited from that video. So thank you for posting it. But just take a step back, right? A lot of the viewers are also beginners who are just starting out their YouTube journey. They're figuring out a bunch of tools. If you can take us back to how this all started, why did you start Car Question Answered, and when did you realize it's becoming a thing?
Yeah, so I have a buddy, and we play disc golf with. If you don't know what disc golf is, we're in the woods and we throw frisbees at trees, basically.
Okay.
But we were out there on the disc golf course one day, and
Yeah.
he knew I was a car dealer, and he was just asking me
Okay.
a lot of questions about how the car market works and what do we do and where car prices are going. And this is in the middle of crazy time, so
Yeah.
prices are going through the roof. And he just asked me a lot of questions about it. And we got towards the end of this round that we were playing, and he was like,
Mhm.
people don't know this, like they need to hear this. And I was like, well, I've always thought about potentially starting a podcast. And he said, well, let's do it. And he
Mhm.
really pushed me over the edge. And we got a microphone, and we hooked it up to the computer, got Audacity or whatever the cheapest, most the free whatever audio equipment we could get. And we just sat down and I talked for an hour, and he
Okay.
asked me some questions. And we put it into like a little nice hour-long package, and we put it on. I can't remember what we used to post it on, but we posted it as a podcast. I don't know if anyone even listened to it, but when we did that, he also started a YouTube channel and threw it on the YouTube channel. And we didn't have any video; it was just audio. We threw a picture up, and I think maybe 20 people watched it. Whatever, it didn't have any video, so it wasn't going to get any views anyway. I know that now, looking back at it. But after that, there was just one day, for whatever reason, I was like, okay, I've got this YouTube channel. It's already set up. So what if I just film a couple videos? And I think the first video that I filmed was what to check out before you buy a car. And that
Okay.
video got a few hundred views, and it was, I mean, that's the direction we wanted to take to help people out, and or the direction I wanted to. I didn't have really anybody on board to help me at that point. And it got a couple hundred views, whatever. And I said, okay, you know what? Let me do another video, and I'm going to spend a whole lot of time on it. And if it's going to do well, it's going to do well. If not, then whatever. I don't even have to think about this anymore. And I posted a video basically summarizing what I did on the podcast that we released, just talking about the seasonality of the car market, what happens, why prices are so high right now. Are they going to go down? Just the inner workings. And I just kind of threw it all together. I think like a 14, 15-minute video, but actually I put B-roll on top of it. So just
Okay.
things I pulled in from like Filmora. And so I had video to go with this. I still wasn't on the camera, but I was just throwing video on top of whatever I was saying. And that video in like 2 weeks did like 200 views, something like that. But like week 3 or week 4, it seems like just overnight, I don't know what happened, there we couldn't find anything where it got pushed from any external source. But overnight, it went from like 400 views to 80,000 views. So YouTube just picked it
80,000.
up.
That's
Yeah, and
yeah,
we were able to monetize off that video because we got
yeah,
enough subscribers, enough hours or
sure.
whatever. And I was just like, I guess this is a thing at this point. So there was never a plan to just be full time YouTube or do this like a job. We just kind of fell into it. So I don't know if I
And if
answered your
I want to
question. I'm long winded. So there you go.
No, no, and it does, and I want to underscore a pretty significant detail, and correct me if I have got this right. You did not spend a lot of time editing or just figuring out the professionalism of a video production, but you just wanted to push it out because that's the reason why I ask is a lot of creators spend a lot of time making sure the video is the best video ever, and that's probably one of the reasons why they don't push out a bunch of content.
Yeah, I just I will say I did edit so much on that video. I didn't try to make it perfect because I didn't know how to make it
Yeah,
perfect. But
yeah.
the only reason it took me so long to edit it is because I've never edited anything before. I had no clue, so I had a YouTube video right beside me while I was editing this video. So, oh,
Yeah.
okay, well, how do I cut right here? And then I had to watch this,
Yeah.
go back and say, okay, well, how do I move this from here to here? And there's no that video is still out on the internet, but it's
Yeah.
horrible. It's so bad. And but it took me a long time to edit, but just because I didn't know what I was doing. Now, if I went back and did it, I could have sat there, put my face on it, and literally I could have knocked it out in 15 minutes. And
Oh
that's
wow.
I think what you say is a big piece to the YouTube pie here. When you're trying to get some traction, you just gotta get videos
Yep.
out. You just gotta put them out. It doesn't matter what
Okay.
they are. Just get some reps in, put them out.
When you say that, and the reason why I ask is one of our creators who is a network, and I'm actually throwing some numbers out just for perspective. He has 9,300 videos, approximately 4,000 subscribers, if that
Wow.
makes sense.
Wow. That's a lot
And
of work.
yes, a lot of work. He's been on around for about 12 years on YouTube. So I think what I'm trying to understand is from your point of view, a lot of people do try this out, which is just pushing out a bunch of content. And how do you how do you benchmark that, you know what, maybe quality is over quantity and I need to stop, just revisit on whatever I'm doing. I need to improve my quality. It could be audio, video, content, script, whatever.
So I would say that I'm really results driven. So when I
Okay.
saw that, okay, I can do this, and then YouTube's a great thing because you get immediate results. So if your video is
Hmm.
bad, YouTube's going to let you know real quick. If your video is great,
Yeah.
you're going to know
Hmm.
tomorrow. So
Right.
what I found, and I would get this whoever you're talking about,
Yeah.
9,000 videos and 4,000 subs. YouTube is telling them you're I don't know if they're all the same niche or whatever trying to be, but you got to find something different. This is not working. And that's what really
Wow.
with YouTube, it, the instant results are going to tell you exactly what you want to do. So if I make two
Mhm.
videos, even if they're in the car market, and one does
Yeah.
50,000 views and one does
Yeah.
2,000 views, then I need to
Yep.
start going towards this way of where the 50,000
Yep.
views, because people don't care. They don't want to hear about this 2,000 view video. They want to know about this thing, this idea. And the idea is so important. The direction is so important because
Yep.
you might make an outstanding video, something that they could put in Hollywood, but if the idea sucks, nobody's going to watch it.
Makes sense. That makes so much sense. And okay, so I think what I'm hearing from you is that yes, quantity is important, but you got to learn and pivot
Right.
as quickly as possible, right? That makes sense. So just to give you more context, the person I'm speaking about, they have a career behind them talking about the subjects that they do. So it's difficult for them to pick up another niche, but I believe what they could do is actually figure out which videos would actually work well among those 9,000 and double down on those topics, I think. But again, that's just one example that I had in mind. Moving on. So let me ask you this, right? If you were starting your channel today, and I know you probably must have been asked about this a bunch of times by other folks, but if you would have started Car Questions Answered today talking about what you do, um, A, how would you do this differently?
Ooh,
B, how often would you post videos? And
that
format. Format is
that
important. Yes.
yeah, that makes me cringe just to think about doing all that work again. Because in the, I'll say
Yeah.
that okay,
Yeah.
in the beginning, it was
Yeah.
so hard. It's almost easier now. Like
Mhm.
we have more work because we have a schedule of when we put out videos. We have a second channel, so
Okay.
we're putting out more videos. We have
Mhm.
people now that we've hired that are coming on and helping us. So there's more work that we do now, but it's
Mhm.
almost easier just because like we're going to get immediate results where when you're a brand new channel, YouTube has to find your audience. We already know our audience, so it's easy to know what they want to watch. um,
Okay.
but with that side note, just aside, if I were to start a channel today, what things would I do differently? I would work on thumbnails and titles immediately. Those are going to be the biggest things that I feel like I struggled with in the beginning. That's the easiest way that you can actually get traction. You can get your videos in front of eyeballs. What I just recently brought on a producer, and one of the conversations that we've had very early is that this is going to sound bad. The content almost doesn't matter. But
Okay.
when you get to the title, the
Yeah.
thumbnail, and the first 30 seconds of the video, they mean 80%. They make up 80% of the importance of the entire video, because you're going to have your thumbnail that's going to catch somebody's eye. If they like the thumbnail, they're going to look at that title. That title is going to give them a question of, "Whoa, this is something's up with this. I need to hover over this video." And then your intro is going to play. It's going to play for what, 15, 30 seconds.
Yep.
And that's just going to grab somebody and say, okay, now I need to click on this video. And I think YouTube has done something great with allowing this hover over feature where somebody can see what your video is about before they even click on it. So a lot of people spend so much time on the thumbnail and the actual title, and they can be great, but if you don't catch somebody with the first 15 seconds of your video,
Yeah.
it's not going to get pushed, because people are either going to click on it because your thumbnail is great and then realize this is just clickbait. This is not something I want to be in, right? Um,
Yep.
so you have to. I'm not gonna say don't use don't use clickbait. Clickbait is something that we all use. It's something that really grabs the user's attention. But
Sure.
if you're going to do something like that, then you have to deliver. You have to make a great video to grab their attention and then keep them on it.
Makes sense. And if I can add a follow-up question to this strategy, you must have heard this a bunch, of course. What would you say to people who say that, hey, today you need to start with pushing out a bunch of short videos, less than 30 seconds, just so that you can start getting quick subscribers and then focus on long videos based on the results that you see. Do you subscribe to that mentality, or do you think that's short-lived?
It depends on what your goal is. If your goal is just to
Okay.
get monetized as quickly as possible, then yeah, that could
Hmm.
be a viable thing. But once you get there are channels out there, and I know you've
Yeah.
seen them. There are
Yeah.
channels out there that have got 100,000 subscribers, and they
Hmm.
make a video and they get 1,200 views. So at
Yes.
yeah, every video
Yes.
gets 1,000, 1,200 views, and I can tell you,
Yeah.
just being on this side of it, they're making
Yeah.
zero money. So if your goal is to
Yep.
get monetized, but when you get monetized, you can't deliver, then those subscribers mean absolutely nothing. And we're getting to a point more and more and more that I'm seeing, at least in my niche, and I'm seeing in other big YouTubers that I'm watching, subscribers really don't matter anymore. It's because YouTube is going to push your video if it's a good video. They're going to push your video to the. They're going to find it's so smart. The algorithm that they put in place, it's so smart that even if your regular viewer is not subscribed to you, your regular viewer is going to get pushed that video.
Wow. So let me unpack this. This is huge, and it goes against a hypothesis that I used to have. So I'm open to learning. So you're saying that the race for subscribers is now sort of coming to a breaking point, and now it's all about just getting a bunch of views. And initially, I remember a bunch of creators complaining that 98% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed. So you're saying it shouldn't matter anymore as long as they're getting views?
Yeah, it shouldn't matter at all. I mean, I can give you an example. We have what, 4 or
Okay.
5 different like bigger channels that are in our niche, and I am the smallest channel as far as subscribers go. But on
Okay.
a average view basis per video, I get
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
views than any of
Yeah.
them, all of them. And so, and I'm 1/4 of their subscribers. So
Wow.
if that's going to tell you anything, but I mean, they've been around for years and years and years, and I've been doing this for about a
Yeah.
year now. But what I can say is our viewer growth, and it's not like I'm not asking for subs. I mean, every third video or so,
Yeah.
then I'll throw my little, hey, please subscribe, whatever, and we're turning
Yeah.
good subscribers. We're growing. In a year we've gained 200,000 subscribers, so we are getting subs, but views can come so much faster than subs. And I feel like there's a mentality of people that watch YouTube now. This is just my opinion, that there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that just they won't subscribe. They're
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a laziness thing. They don't even want to hit the button. Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's tons of creators out there that I watch,
Yeah.
even me, and
Yeah.
I watch them every day, and I'm not
Yeah.
subscribed to them. But YouTube is the algorithm is so smart that they
Yeah.
don't have to be subscribed. I don't have to be subscribed to these channels that I watch every day. YouTube knows that I want to watch them, so they're going to put
Yeah.
their video right in front of me. I will say that the argument for the subscribers is when you get
Yeah.
to be bigger, that
Yeah.
it can give you a little weight with what am I trying to say? Sponsors. On promotions for videos. So that would be the only argument in my mind, other than these cool plaques that we get, would be the only argument for me to push for subscribers versus views. Because what you'll see too is when you have a video, and I can see it in my retention, if at halfway through I do a little break and say, hey, just so you guys know, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, please like this video, you lose retention.
Yeah.
And when you lose retention, your
Oh,
video is
wow.
going to get pushed less. So there is an argument to say that if you ask for subscribers, it is actually hurting your channel.
And that makes sense. So tell me if you agree with what the way I look at this. And as a consumer, I see the two categories of creators that I consume content from. One, I like their content. I love their video. And I don't know if there is any future promise for the next video that they will deliver, but I like that video, so I'm just going to watch it. The second is they resonate with my belief, what I stand for, my ideology, and I want to subscribe, not just because there's a video that I hope they'll deliver in future, but I just want to support them.
Yeah,
Do you see there are more options, there are more kinds of ways where people interact?
right, and you can throw in the like button too. So I mean, there are ways that
Yeah.
you can support people that if you like, if you subscribe, if you comment.
Yeah.
I mean, this
Yeah.
this hasn't been the algorithm changes all the time, and it used to be,
Yep.
from my understanding, that would mean a lot for the algorithm. But what
Yep.
I have heard from interviews lately is that it's not so much of a thing, and I can even you can look at some of my videos, and you look at other creators that are putting out videos that get 200, 300, 400,000 views, and there's no correlation that I can see with likes and views. So I can have a video
Wow.
that explodes, and the
Yeah.
like ratio is lower than a video that I have that only has 150,000 views.
Wow, yes, and that makes a lot of sense. I was actually looking at your last 6 videos. On an average, you've crossed 250,000 views on an average per video. And and this is my analysis. Just I think by now I may have seen over 250 YouTubers studios. And one of the things that I'm picking up from what you're doing right, and I would love to know if there is more to what I think you're doing right, is you have cracked the thumbnail, man. you have cracked the thumbnail. I would be surprised if your CTR is above 16 to 18%. I would not be surprised, just because I think it's just extremely catchy. I think you've already experimented a bunch.
Yeah.
Whoever, if you're the one who's doing the A/B testing, kudos to you, but your team is getting it. So great job on that. The second is definitely the title. The title, as you mentioned, I know exactly the value that I'm going to get as soon as I click on your video. These are definitely the two things. The third, which was actually pretty interesting, and this is a question and a hypothesis. When I looked at your description, I actually read it. It almost looked like someone spent time in writing that description. It wasn't generated by ChatGPT or AI. It almost sounded like it's a blog. You're explaining what the video is, and it's a human who's written it. I may be wrong. I completely may be off, but I want to know if that is what you guys are doing.
It depends on the video. Sometimes,
Okay.
like we
Okay.
have these programs, all of them, right? That spit
Okay.
us out some generated, and most of the time they can't do it. And so there will be one out of every four that we get a description that's spit out, and I'm like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay, but let me change this, let me change this. But
Okay.
from what I've found, and there's some videos that I don't even put a description on. Like we have a stock description that we'll just copy and paste over. I don't know that the description matters at all, but from what I've done, description is always very last thing that we just throw in, and I
Sure.
just type a couple sentences for the most part. And I don't. Maybe I should spend more time on it, but I haven't recognized that the description has mattered in any capacity.
Okay. And in terms of thumbnails, I think you guys are crushing it. So I think there's no two ways about that. And I,
Yeah,
and I want to know how many iterations did it take to get to a point where now you know it's working.
I still, this is thumbnail, something that we battle with every single day, and we're definitely not nailing it.
Okay.
I will say we don't A/B test. So what
Oh,
we'll
you don't.
do
Okay.
is, yeah, we'll make a thumbnail, and
Hmm.
I'll look at it. I'm like, all right. Well, until yesterday, it's funny because my producer we hired just started. He's dabbling in thumbnails now, but up until
Okay.
yesterday, I did all my thumbnails by myself.
Oh, wow.
There was a short amount of time where I hired them out, but we put
Okay.
out content so frequently that I didn't want to have to wait on it. So I just
Yeah.
learned Photoshop. And I used to just do it
Okay.
out of Filmora, our video editing software. I would literally make the thumbnail within that and just take a screenshot and not use Photoshop at all. But then I knew I needed to upgrade my thumbnail game. This was probably maybe 6 months ago or so. And
Got it.
so I hired it out and let somebody else do it for maybe 3 or 4 thumbnails. And I couldn't wait anymore. I got tired of waiting, and so I just
Yeah.
basically deconstructed what they were sending to me because they were good thumbnails.
Yeah.
It's just the time, and I deconstructed it and figured out how to do it on Photoshop. Never used Photoshop before, but I mean, find a YouTube video to show you how to make a thumbnail on
Sure.
Photoshop, and
Yeah.
then just started finding our own little path here. And we're still getting better, trying to
Yep.
every thumbnail we make. So
Yeah.
if you go back on our videos, you can see the evolution of thumbnails and where they are today. I still don't think we have it, but we're
Yeah.
getting there. But our CTR is, when we have a real banger of a video, we can get up to 30% in like
Wow.
the first hour, 2 hours, and that's when we know it's going to be a banger.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that is almost double of what I thought is going on. So great job.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I think the next part of this conversation, and this is I'm loving it because I think a lot of the people who are curious on how to actually get past this stagnation phase, and I know some of them are waiting on the 70s and 80s, 80,000 subs up for over 6 to 8 months now, and they're trying to push it out, but they don't know. So I think this is very useful for a lot of them. Um, in terms of your own personal milestone for the channel, what do you hope to achieve next?
Okay, so what I'll say about that is, I'm never thinking about subscribers because like we've talked about before, I don't
Yeah.
care about subscribers. I'll still ask
Yep.
for them because I think it's just,
Hmm.
it feels like it's just the YouTube thing to do, right? And it's
Yep.
nice to see that subscriber amount grow, and it can give you some notoriety. It can give you some I don't know what the word is. It's just showing that you know what you're doing, and it
Yeah.
seems like for
Gravitas. Just
yeah,
gravitas. Yeah.
for people who are looking at videos, if they see that someone's got 1 million subs, then they're going to be more likely to click on that video
Yep.
because they're like, okay,
Yep.
well, this is a big person, they know what they're talking about, whatever they're doing. So
Hmm.
I will say that subs are good for that, but in all other cases, my goals are never going to be tied to subs, just because I don't think that's a big thing. So what I would
Yeah.
love to have is to be able to have our main channel, to where we
Yeah.
can do 2 videos, maybe 3 a week, and
Hmm.
pull anywhere between 500 and 1 million views per video. That would be the goal that I would like to look for, and just broaden out the scale of who we're actually reaching, and that's going to take specific topics that I'm specific ideas, because we're putting 2 3 videos out a week, and it's
Yep.
tough to come up with that many ideas. So working on ideas is something that I really want to set for one of my team's goals going forward, is because the idea is so important, and it's so difficult, especially when you have a channel like mine that has to keep up to date with news, and we're still trying to help people and help people navigate the car market. There's only so many things you can talk about within the car market. There's only so much news that actually happens. So ideas are very important to us, and that's a goal that I want us to achieve, is to be able to have never ending ideas, to be able to put these videos out, and they actually still be helpful to people that are watching. And like I said, we started a second channel to be able to lean more into actually helping people, and I would love to see that channel. It's I would assume it's not going to hit the heights that our main channel is able to, but I would love to have that be able to reach enough people, and we be the place on YouTube where if you have a car question, we do lives and stuff like that. If you have questions about what you should buy, how to approach car dealers, how to where to get your car fixed, stuff like that. I want to be the name that says, okay, well, Brandon's probably got a video on this, or you know what? I know he's got a live coming out Thursday, so let me jump in there, and maybe he'll be able to answer my question if there's not too many people that are
Yeah.
asking questions. I want to be the one that's able to help people doing that, and I don't know what the next step is from where we are now. I know that I just want
Yep.
to help people, and I want to make the best videos possible. And if we're doing that, then I know we're going to grow. And I don't know what the ceiling is, and hopefully we never find it.
Well said. There is no ceiling.
Yep.
But where I'm coming from is from my conversation, and again, I'm going to use an example of a creator I was talking to. She's at 32,000 subscribers. Again, just giving you a trash, sort of a benchmark, so you
Right.
understand
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
journey. Um, they talk about entrepreneurship and how to make money, and just in that niche, right? A lot of these people, of course, especially creators who are stagnant and they want to grow, they're looking for more monetization avenues. That's because their dream is to be successful on YouTube. However, the reality is still they don't hit a certain critical mass of following, call it ad revenue, whatever, they're not able to commit more time. So for those creators who would love to focus just on YouTube, but it's just financially not viable, what advice will you give them? And I understand it's difficult for you to place yourself in their shoes, but just would love to know what your thoughts are.
So I can even go to the aspect of just the business side, because we have a car lot. If I want to make more money on my car lot, then I have to sell more product. So if there's somebody out there that's stagnating on YouTube, then you need to sell more product. And what is your product? Your product is your video. So you have to figure out a way to get more views on your video, you have to make your video more engaging. You have to make your video more clickable, but your video is your product. Nothing else
Okay.
really matters, because if you want to monetize in some other way, whether it be channel memberships, whether it be getting sponsorships, there's a lot of money in getting sponsorships, but sponsorships are not going to come to you if you can't sell your product. Your product is the number one thing. It's the only thing that matters. Everything else will come to you. Viewers will come to you. Subscriptions will come to you. If you want to monetize them on Patreon, if you want to get channel memberships, the only way you're going to do that is by selling your product. And your product is your video. And if you're stagnating, it's because something is wrong. People are not wanting to watch you. You need to do better.
And that's excellent advice. And I have a couple of follow-ups. The first follow-up is, what are some of the simple hacks you figured out to engage these your audiences? I know from within the video, you got to make the video more engaging, and there are that's a separate discussion. But from outside the video, do you specifically do something that is unique that you figured out in your niche that engages their audiences more?
We don't do it anymore because it's impossible. But when I first started out, I think up until we had it's probably 40, maybe 50,000 subscribers, me and my wife, we literally answered every single comment. And because our channel was Car Questions Answered, we got a whole lot of car questions. So there there would be nights that we would put our son down for bed at like 7:30 at night, and me and her would be sitting in bed until 12 o'clock answering comments just the whole night.
Wow.
And we would get them all done. Have the YouTube Studio app is just white screen now. We'd high five, go to sleep, wake up the next morning. We got another 150 comments that we got to get to before they start rolling in. So now we can't do it. It's impossible. But I would say early stage channels and even mid stage channels, if you've got under 20,000 subs, if you're getting 1,000 to 10,000 views a video, answer every one of your comments, because when they get this response, I really feel like they're more likely to watch your next video and comment on your next video, because they're like, okay, this dude cares about his viewers, and he really wants to answer my question. And it doesn't matter what niche you're in, your viewers are going to have questions, whether it's behind the scenes stuff or just about the niche that you're in. They're interested in what you're doing, or they wouldn't be watching. So they're going to want to interact with you. So any interaction you can have with your audience. We used to do lives all the time, and we're going to get back to doing more lives on our second channel. And that was one of the things that was really, really engaging with. And we've created actually friends. I mean, there's some viewers out there that've got my personal cell phone number. They've had lunch with me, and they send me information that they see, ads that they see that I could do videos on. And we try our best to be really engaged with our audience, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. So I'm working for them. They're buying my product. They're my customer. I'm going to do whatever they want for them to be happy, if I'm wanting to sell them this product, which is my video.
That makes sense. And to give you another example, so we're talking to another creator from India. They have 1.43 million subscribers. Wow. They talk about chess, and he's a buddy of mine. And I was just asking him what got him from 400,000 to the next million, and he said it was actually pretty quickly. Like, he got from 400,000 to 700,000 in within 3 months. He was telling me, and I was asking him what were the reasons and what was the catalyst. So the first thing that he said is, I realized, and I quote, he said, I realized the power of offline events is huge. Apparently, my community wanted to meet me, and all I had to do is figure out a place for them to show up, and they did. And that made my channel viral. That's because I was able to get sponsorships, have a small team. It wasn't a big event like a VidCon event, but just something for chess nerds. And this kind of got them to share more of my content. It almost became like a feedback loop. So that was something that he did. And of course, the second aspect, he said, I actually collaborated with a comedian. And that comedian was also struggling at around 350,000 subs. and we actually were able to cross-pollinate each other's followers. So I just wanted to share this with everyone who's listening, that there are different ways this works. But of course, it's not one size fits for all, and you got to figure out something.
Yeah.
That makes sense, right? So my second follow-up to this question is, I don't know if you've heard of Babish. He's another YouTuber who's now at 4 million subs, if I'm not wrong. Started as a chef, and now he has his own YouTube academy. He sells knives on Amazon Marketplace. The other YouTuber is Ali Abdal, who's also at 7-figure subscribers, and he has his own courses. My question is, if what stage should a YouTuber or a creator start focusing on now creating something out of their brand?
That's difficult to say because we haven't done it yet, and we're at 200 subs, and we 200,000 subs,
Yeah.
and we get between 200 to 500,000-600,000 views a video, and we
Mm-hmm.
haven't done that yet. It's difficult to say because it all boils down again to your goals. If you're chasing money, that's all good. This is a business, so if you want to go that route, absolutely fine. I think that you have to have a big enough audience to be able to want to monetize, whether you're selling classes, whatever. But you there's got to be a hunger for that. So maybe 10,000 views a video, I would guess. Maybe you could start converting, but I think you have to have a big enough audience, and I don't know what that size is.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're there, and we've been there for a while, but I'm at the moment not trying to find ways to monetize my audience. I really just want to get to help as many people as possible right now, and by that we'll get more views. So that's really what my focus is right now.
That makes sense. And has YouTube reached out to you? I'm just curious for providing support, additional assistance, and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a rep that reaches out to us. I mean, I'm trying not to say anything that I shouldn't say. It's not been helpful. There we go.
Okay. Okay. I'm good. Yeah, we both will leave this topic alone.
Yeah,
But okay.
might
So
I might
going
need to
forward,
edit that question out.
I
Yeah,
will.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, say no more. But oh, awesome. Okay, I get it. And then okay, and then the final piece, and again, would love for me to talk about two questions that I know a couple of creators were wanting me to ask you. But I just had one more question to this. Some of the creators are trying to diversify their video return of investment on their videos. So what I mean is they start posting on TikTok, they want to be on Instagram and YouTube. In your opinion, does this work? And what are your thoughts about it?
My opinion, as of right now, where like Twitter Spaces, the TikTok, some of these other platforms, what in my opinion, I think it's a waste of time. I think YouTube's the
Okay.
place. That's where you're going to be able to get the most monetization off of it. I know there's tons of TikTok creators. I've heard them talk out there that get millions and millions and millions of views. They're not making any money. So
Yep.
I think YouTube is the place for creators, and I think that that's a good way to funnel to get more audience over to where you're actually making money or where you actually want to post your videos. But as far as being a creator, if you want to do this for an actual job, I feel like if it's just extra, I mean, video that you can literally just post everywhere, it's fine. But if it's going to take up a lot of your time to actually be on these different mediums, maybe in the future it's going to prove fruitful. But right now, I think the place to be is YouTube, and that's where I feel like creators should spend most of their time, most of their energy, just because the platform is so creator friendly, and
Yeah.
I feel like it's not even close, even second to YouTube. It's just so far swayed into
Yeah.
YouTube's into favor to that's where creators' energy should go.
Yeah, and just to add a couple of facts on what you just said, YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world. That means anything that someone looks up, YouTube videos pop up, even if they didn't want to do that. The second is 95% of teens in the US watch YouTube over any other social media. So there you go. I think that's huge.
And I'll say it's only getting better. I know just 2 weeks ago, like my parents got rid of their cable, and I would have never, ever in my wildest dreams thought that my old school parents would get rid of that. And they watch YouTube TV and they watch YouTube now. And I'll say that the demographic for my channel, probably a lot of your viewers
Yeah,
that are looking at this, they probably never heard of me. But I'll say because my demographics, 75% of my viewers are 45 years and older. So
hmm.
there is a whole subset of the population that is just
Yeah,
now coming online to YouTube. And it's becoming a more widespread thing in that demographic of people. So there's this massive piece of pie that
yeah,
YouTube hasn't even really tapped yet. If a channel like mine that has 75% of their viewer base 45 years and older, and they're watching almost every one of my videos, then there's only growth potential. That's what makes me excited about a channel like mine and my niche is that um, that's huge growth opportunity, and I'm excited to see what happens in the next few years as we grow and as that demographic of the population gets more online and that starts cutting cable and going more toward just a YouTube kind of thing, because that makes me a TV show, and that it feels weird to say that, but for these people that don't have cable anymore, I mean, they watch me for their entertainment, and that blows my mind.
and thanks for sharing that. And I was just on a lighter note. Do your parents, watch your videos, and what do they tell you?
I don't think they really they watch my videos. They won't watch everyone, but I don't think they totally get what I'm doing. I've shown them some of the numbers, like some of like the AdSense that we make, and
Yeah,
it blows their mind. And I don't think they get it. And a lot of times when you have older people, like I hang
yeah,
around with a lot of older people, and they have no clue how I get paid. I think most people don't really realize how creators actually get paid. They're like, so YouTube actually they pay you to put videos on there? Well, no, there's ads that are played just like commercials when you watch regular TV, and the ads are who's paying YouTube, and then YouTube gives me a piece of it, and they still can't really wrap their brains around how all that works.
yeah. And trust me, even folks within our generation are not able to get it. So I don't blame anyone across different age groups. Um, this is this is something which I want to know, and I'm going to sound like a YouTube nerd right now, but I like to read the letters that are written by the CEO of YouTube. He posts them on YouTube blog once in a while. The last one that was written by his name is Neil Mohan, and he almost said he might as well have said that, but just to summarize for everyone who's watching this, they actually said that YouTube is now pushing all creators to improve the sound and audio quality. I mean, sound and video quality of their videos so that this can be replacing Netflix in everyone's living room. So I'm not surprised that the result is that folks are actually now disconnecting their cable and actually putting YouTube on in their living room. So I just want to know that that's something which is pretty much YouTube's strategy, that they want to replace Netflix and all cable TV. Period.
Yeah, and talk about the quality.
So yeah,
I can
that's
tell you if there's just a little bit of audio off in one of my videos, I want to hear about it. Yeah, people hate when okay they come to expect some a level of quality coming out of my videos that I didn't have in the beginning. I didn't hear any. There's no problems 6 7 months ago, but as you step up your game on YouTube, if you take a little bit of step back, if I get my mics when I'm out filming one day and I'm just going off
yeah,
the camera audio, oh yeah, I'm going to hear about it.
yeah,
So the quality thing is going to be a big thing, and if you want to be big, then you got to step up your quality game. In my opinion, that's gonna have to happen, because the wider that your audience gets, there's going to be a subsection of that audience. It doesn't matter how good the content is. If the quality's not there,
yep.
they're not going to watch it.
Yeah, that makes total sense. and I believe that's something which a lot of YouTubers have been crying out loud, just that, hey, why don't you guys improve your quality and just see the magic? And I don't know if you agree with this, but people say that audio supersedes video. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me.
Yeah. So one more question, and then I'm gonna, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What?
I was going to say I didn't elaborate on that at all. I agree
Sorry,
with
say that
that.
again.
Yeah, yeah. So I can have bad video
Oh,
quality or the
yeah,
camera mess up or anything like that. But if I have some crackles or if it's only coming out of the just the left side, as far as audio, then
yeah,
people can't get over that
yeah.
because what a lot of people do and how they consume at least my videos or any kind of informative videos is a lot of times they won't even watch it. They'll put it on their phones and they'll be driving
Yeah,
and they'll turn the screen off. I do this all the time. If I'm watching a finance video or anything like that, I
me
won't even
too.
watch what's on the screen. So if that audio is bad and it's coming through my car speakers and it's crackling and popping, I'm going to turn it off. And I would assume everybody else is the same way too.
Wow. And okay, yeah, that makes sense. And that's me too, me too. Like I almost use YouTube as a podcast app. I don't look at Spotify. I just open YouTube and listen to a bunch of stuff. So that makes total sense. So I'm going to talk about two questions that two of the creators within our network had. They didn't want to be named, but they didn't mind if I just shared about what they talk about. So the first creator talks about gardening, and she also talks about cooking, but all the fresh stuff that she grow, the produce that she grows in her garden. So one of her questions was, she works full time, she has a full time job, she's not able to invest in the production quality, to improve the production quality of her videos, because she's just doing this part time. To someone like her, how do you convince her, what would you say that that helps her improve the quality of her production, assuming that she has a tight budget?
So I've got a lot of money set up in here. I mean, this is a $500
Yeah.
mic. We've got interfaces,
Yep.
we've got lights, but these are not the typical videos that I shoot. When I'm shooting a video and the quality is from what I would say is what my viewer wants, I have a $300 GoPro. I
Okay.
have a like a $20 or $30 lapel mic and a wireless receiver for the mic to go into the camera, and that was pricey, but you can do without that. When I actually exploded, when I think we got like 40 or 50,000 subs in 1 month, and we
Hmm.
hit like
Hmm.
5.5 million views in 1 month. I literally had that
Hmm.
GoPro, and that's it. And so it
Wow.
was a $300 camera, and I would
Hmm.
actually argue that when I take a video with my phone, it actually looks better than the GoPro does. So you can get the
Are
kind of
you
quality
serious?
to get tons of views and tons of
Yeah.
subscribers with just your phone. You
Hmm.
don't need all this fancy equipment. You can cut it up in free editing software. There's nothing I do that's fancy, and I use Filmora, and it's cheap. So you don't have to
Yep.
spend
And
money to
CapCut is awesome too.
yeah, yeah, and you don't have to spend money to actually to increase your quality. What's really going to increase your quality is, well, I go back to it all the time, is your ideas and your thumbnails and your titles, and those don't cost any money. You can figure that out. You can increase your quality that way, and you don't have to spend money on $1,000 cameras. You can do it with your phone, and you can get views with your phone.
Makes sense. That's awesome advice. And then the second person that I want to talk about is, he has a church channel. Talks about he basically talks about religious and spiritual stuff. Um, Now it was interesting because we have access to his studio. We discuss a bunch of this analytics. He's not happy with the audiences he's attracting. So, for example, in his mind, he has a specific ideal customer profile, right? Which is this age group, this demography from this country. But that's not happening right now. So, how do you kind of navigate through that, especially when you're coming up with video ideas and you're not getting the kind of viewer you thought you'd get?
So it comes down to really knowing your audience. You have to know exactly what they want to watch. And obviously, if he's not getting the type of viewer that he wants, then the content that he's putting out is not what his ideal consumer, when I say consumer, I've been talking about this the whole time, is your viewer, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I would assume that he's not really dialed into exactly what his ideal viewer wants. And it almost gets more detrimental to his channel if he goes down this path of attracting this viewer that he does not want, because then the algorithm is going to learn to push all of his videos over here. And if he tries to pivot to over here, then his current audience might not want what he's actually trying to push. So he's probably at a crossroads right now where he has to decide, okay, do I want to lean into my current viewer right now, or do I want to change the way at the detriment of my fan base at the moment? I don't know how big they are, but if they're not attracting what's over here, you got to change something. If you're
Yeah.
going over here with the videos that you're putting out, but you want to be over here, then you got to change. You got to go over here.
That makes sense. And just to, because I know exactly what they're struggling with. So so the good news is that they're not already blown out. So they're at around below 20,000. And I think one of the things that they're figuring out is what is it that really the audience wants? Like, so I think, it's like a chicken and egg where he
Right.
doesn't exactly know that the ideal consumer, what they want, but he's just guessing. He's just throwing spaghetti at the wall. That's basically what he's doing.
And I can tell you this is a struggle that we had, because even a few months ago, I've had conversations with, okay, I don't know who my audience is, because we're putting 3 different kinds of videos out, and
Yeah.
some of them are doing well, some of them are not doing well, and some of them are doing great. And we
Hmm.
talked about this earlier in this podcast. We've had to learn on our journey that we've had to pivot, because our audience, who we thought was over here, is not. This is our audience over here. And so we had to change the course of our videos to go this direction with our audience if we wanted to appease that audience. And that was the reason for the second channel. So it's good that it's good that they haven't blown up and then they're not locked into this audience. It's bad that they haven't blown up and they're locked into this audience, right? So either way, it's not a good thing, or you can spin it however you want to. But um, if he wants to still have this channel, that he's got this base and wants to lean into that, then if he's got the time, there's an argument for starting another channel and trying to go that way with another channel, because your algorithm is already set, I feel like, in
Yeah.
a lot of
Yep.
cases, and he's going to have to basically alienate his whole audience to
Yep.
go the direction that he wants to go. But at the end of the day, if he wants this audience over here, he's going to have to alienate this audience, the other
Makes
audience
sense.
there's no way, unless he gets broader. And I watch a lot of what do you say, like church channels, worship music, stuff
Yeah.
like this. I watch this kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
there's it's so saturated. There's so many of these channels out
Yep.
there that you
Mhm.
have to niche down. You have to go into punk rock gospel, punk rock Christian music, or whatever he's got to niche it down so far, because there's so
Yeah.
many of it. And when you have such a saturated um saturated niche, then you either have to be the best, you have to put out the
Yeah.
most content, or you have to have basically like the best quality. And if you don't have any of that, you're not going to appeal to the masses. So he's going to have to niche down in some way.
That makes total sense. I know we are 6 minutes over, but if it's okay, I have
That's
four
fine.
minutes worth of more questions.
No, you're good.
I'll just take 4 more minutes. Okay. So I'm actually drilling down on that, and probably this could be the most advanced section where people who exactly know what we're talking about, you will follow, because now we're talking about YouTube Studio. So Brandon, I want to go back to when you said that a few months back you actually pivoted. That's because you realized you want to attract the specific consumer profile that you had in mind. But my question is that YouTube does not allow you to look into who did not tune into you, right? They mostly talk about who have who has tuned into you. So you want to just so how did you figure out what the pivot was?
So I am able to go into. Are we fine to talk about YouTube Studio, or is that too granular?
Yes. No,
Yeah.
no,
So
let's do that. Let's do
uh,
that. Yeah.
okay, so I'm able to go into YouTube Studio. I can find out exactly what my viewers are watching other than me, and when I'm able
Yep.
to go in there and look and see, okay, my viewers are not watching car related content. They're watching uh, economics. They're watching CNN. They're watching Fox News. They're watching um, anything about macroeconomics. They're watching stock market stuff. And when I was able to kind of just boil down and find, like, there wasn't even another car, there was like one other car market channel that was even on my list of other channels that my viewers watched. I was like, oh my goodness, my viewers do not care at all about me wrenching on a Toyota Camry at all. They want to know where the car market's going, what's it going to do to our economy, and that kind of stuff. And once I was able to try to lean into that, our views just went through the roof when we were able to pick on these topics. So it was nice to get that instant gratification from YouTube, saying
Yep.
that, okay, we made this pivot, we think we need to go this direction, and YouTube was like, yep, that's exactly right, that's exactly what you need to do.
And it's amazing how you adapted to what they need or what they want to watch. And you also quickly kind of expanded the way you explain your subjects. I mean, all your topics. So that's something which for all creators, they need to sort of be the master of the art in this context, that you cannot just stick to what you really think you know. You got to expand and speak to the audience. And I believe that's something which I think worked really well for you. So great job on that. Yeah, I think this was exactly what I wanted to know, and towards this, we are sort of concluding. So, thank you, Brandon. I think personally, I learned a lot. I had some hypotheses I'm completely wrong about. So, thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll say when I go on and do interviews with other channels, even in my niche and not in my niche, this is the most fun that I have because I can come into something like this, and I feel like I don't have to prepare anything and don't have to talk about cars. I'm so tired of talking about the car markets. So